Hello everyone, I'm Chris The Zelda Collector and welcome to Gossip Stones. As everyone knows, it's dangerous to go alone, so this is the series where I'm joined by a guest and we just talk all things Zelda. And this week I'm joined by Kevin Woolford.
Hello.
Yes, and like you're saying, this is Gossip Stones. It's a series that's split into 4 parts. In part 1, which is the first part, we're going to be getting to know Kev, all about what he does himself on YouTube and stuff like that, and his relationship with Zelda. And then there was 3 more parts to follow. Part 2 will be 12 Zelda questions. Part 3 will be Kev's favourite Zelda game, and Part 4 will be a topic of his choice. But as I said, we're on Part 1 now, and it's basically just getting to know Kev. How are you doing? Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight, Kev.
No worries, man. Pleasure.
It's I do know that you're quite a Zelda fan yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I've played, pretty much all of them apart from like the CDI, just because that's... I know you should play every game and get into it, but when you see it and people just badmouth it, it kind of puts you off a bit. So yeah, I pretty much played every Zelda.
Yeah, like for me, does anyone want to play it more though? For me, that's why I want to play CDI.
I don't want it to tarnish it. Does that make sense? If I go and I see the bad stuff, I'm like, oh, yeah.
You see, but for me, it's the nerd effect. I think that's the word I like to use, where he makes a game look that bad, you have to say, is it real?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like it's infamous.
You know what I mean by AVG again? He does these games and he makes them so bad they look good.
That you want to play it.
Yeah.
That's exactly. The prices go up because you see him do a review and it's really bad, and the prices just shoot up and they're like, because everyone wants to buy it and play it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I don't know they're bad, because I've had a little go of one at, I think it was a game event, North East Retro Game in Nerg, and actually Stephen Smith, during the retro events, had a CDI set up with Faces of Evil. And you're flying on a flying carpet over the mountains of the faces, and yeah, it didn't look good. It didn't play well. I've actually got that now somewhere. It's probably up here actually. I do actually own Faces of Evil on the CDI.
I've never touched the CDI just simply because they were so expensive back in the day. I remember seeing them in like was it Dixon's back in the day? You go into Dixon's and I was seeing it, it's massive player, and I was just like, wow, that's so cool. And then they're like, oh, it's like £600 or something. And I was like, nope.
Yeah, well, I think I want to look out for a broken one, and hopefully I know a guy, which everyone knows a guy. It was my last guest, Simon Locke. He's a technical wizard when it comes to fixing computers. So I think he's pretty much told us to keep an eye out for a broken one, because in his words, things are broken for a reason, so they can most times be fixed. So as long as it's not completely demolished, you might stand a chance of fixing it. So I'm actually going to look out for a very broken, cheap one, so I can actually play the CDI games.
What do they go for? Like, second hand?
I think if a fully working one can be a couple of hundred, but a broken one you might be able to get for under 100.
Okay.
So it's a chance to take, you know what I mean? So, and maybe if you get 2 broken ones and actually if you can fix one the first go,
combine them, yeah.
Yeah, so you might still be able to get a cheaper one by getting 2 broken ones and combining and then getting a working one. Yeah. But anyway, come on, this is the start of part 1. We shouldn't be talking Zelda straight away. We should be talking about Kevin Woolford 123. That's your YouTube channel. And like I said, I like to talk about this bit, how I got to know, how I found you basically. Because obviously we watch each other on YouTube and that, and obviously I've watched you for quite a while now actually, Kev. And for me, when I first found your channel, it was because of the likes of the Game Chasers and stuff like that in America. When I first started watching game hunting on YouTube, the main one is Game Chasers, and I was hooked. Of course, yeah. I binged it. I think it was up to season 4 maybe when I found it, or 5, and I binge watched them all. And when I finished it, I needed more. I needed another fix. And I was thinking there must be something in the UK like this. And obviously when I started hunting, all I could really find, there was you, there was Kieran, and who did out and about boot sale videos where you have the camera. Yeah. And then there was the likes of Tootie who did actual pickup videos, and I think that's kind of
where he talks about it.
And Kev just does pickup videos and he talks about his day at the boot. But you actually had a camera going out to the boot sale, and it was the closest I could find to the Game Chasers in England, if that made sense.
I think it would be a lot. For me, if I lived near Kieran, we'd do a lot more co-op episodes. We've done a couple in the past, and then you can have the banter and you can mess about, and you get through the episode. But we did a challenge a while ago, where we did the, Cowabunga collectibles. You heard of them?
Yeah, I think
they did a challenge where they spent like a tenner, and we both had a tenner. Went round and bought what we got.
Yeah, I remember.
But Yeah, the Game Chasers I discovered, same as you, I reckon, probably like 2 or 3 seasons in, and I just binge watched it all. But this was like after I'd started doing it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was I was speaking to Kieran. We got to know each other through eBay. It was I sold an item, and he was like, his name come up, Kieran Cox. I was like, "Are you on eBay? I'm on YouTube. I've seen you." And he was like, "Yeah, that's me." So I was like, I sent him a load of goodies in the post. And then we got chatting, and he was like, "Oh, I do these live car boot things." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And he's like, "You should try it." And I was like, "Well, I've got a camera." And then back in the day, I had my hat and one of them Call of Duty head cams. You know, like they have the territorial sort of things. And I whacked it on, filmed it. The quality was bad, but it's kind of worked, and people started watching it. So it progressed from there, and that's it, really. Just got addicted to doing it.
Yeah, like obviously that's why I found it is in... Because obviously I talk to people who don't really watch as much YouTube as me, and I tell people about different channels, and I tell people about your channel as I'm telling them about other people's, and it is that we kind of like, I don't get it, Chris, because they don't even like boot sales, but I love boot sales. What, you're watching someone with a camera strapped to their chest walking on a boat sale buying stuff? It's like, yeah, why? That's just because it's incredible. It is, it's just... I think because I get as excited as you are thinking what's on the next stall, what you're going to find. Are you going to find a bag full of NES games on the next table, or are you going to find a N64 or a Super Nintendo? And it's just the thrill, I think. And I think that's why everyone watches it, because they get great viewing numbers, your boat sale videos, don't you?
Over the course of, since I've been doing them, some are on like, I don't know, maybe 40k and stuff like that, which is pretty good. And the thing is, like I said, I don't go for myself. Like, I'm at that point now where I don't go because I want to go. I go because it's the excitement of what to find and to show you guys.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching other people doing the same sort of thing, and it's like, what's in the box? You don't know what's in the box. You just could be rummaging, and then look, off like that time I found a Game Boy and loads of Pokemon games and everything. And the lady's like, you can have it for a couple of quid, and you know, the NES with like 20 games for £20.
I was just going to bring that up. Obviously, we'll get it in a moment.
That's how I got onto NES.
Yeah, what's sat behind it. But it was because of that video, or because of doing what you did, why you started collecting for NES. I remember watching a video, I remember it now, it was fantastic. I think I was as excited as you were when you found it. I was watching the video and I couldn't believe it. You just pulled this bag out and a game come out, another game come out, and it's like Aladdin's cave. It just kept going, and it excited when you just like snatched it up as if I need to get this before I say what else is in the bag. I think you're just, I'll have it. And it was incredible.
The whole point was we went to the boot sale, there was nothing, and we were leaving, so we were going out the door, and then 2 more cars come in at the end, and she's like, do you want to go have a look? I was like, nah, I can't be bothered. I just, you know, when you get down, you're like, I found nothing, it's not worth it. She goes, come on, let's have a look. Went over there, and I just clocked at the bottom just 1 NES cart, just poking out a tiny bit, and I just went, excuse me, how much? 20 quid. I was like, yep, loaded it out quick, because then all the, as I say, lizards start coming in, and they're all like, oh, did you just buy that? Did you buy that? And you're like, yep, buy, thank you. And then I got home with it, I fired it up, and I just was in love. You know, when I put on Kirby, and I put Kirby in first of all,
that's a great
and I just like, I'm sitting there, I was like, I'll play 5 minutes, ended up completing the game. And then I was just like, well, maybe I could get another game. Then they said the high def mod was coming out, so I just went on and on and on, and now full set.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously sat behind you there, there's a full UK PAL set of Nintendo Entertainment System games, and it's incredible. It's quite a journey. I've been enjoying watching your journey collecting these games as well, because obviously you do pick up videos when you were getting bulks of NES games, and we've all been on the journey with you as you've got these games, basically, haven't we?
Yeah, I got to the end, and I put them all on the shelf. And then I started getting random ones. And you know, when you're down to the last few, they're always a bit awkward to find, aren't they? So you go in, oh, I look for that and look for that. And then some will turn up, and I put them on the shelf and clean them. And then I got to the point where I was like, I can't remember which ones I've picked up. So I got to the end, finished the list off, ticked it off, and I couldn't remember what I picked up. So I never did that final pickup video of like the last like 15, 20. So the next video would obviously be a full look over the set.
Yeah.
And what, you know, I'd probably say, you know, what's hidden gems and things like that. But yeah, amazing. That's the UK, Italian and Australian exclusives. So it's the whole Poway.
Wow. It's quite the achievement, it really is.
It's an awesome system to collect for. I mean,
yeah, like
there's so many good games.
You've also upgraded your net. You actually have a high def NES, as you were saying, and all, don't you? So you actually have the best output. You have two.
Yes. I've got the high def. I've got the PAL top loader, which only came out in Australia, which had imported over, and that's got the high def kit on it for 1080p. And then I've now got the AV Famicom because I want to get into Japan games. So there's quite a few I've looked at, and so it's an addiction. You start, you know, it's a gateway drug. You get in, and then you're like, well, what about the Japanese? What about the American ones? Never ends.
Yeah, but I must say I'm nowhere near you. I think I'm up to about 19 NES games, and I've said I'm not going for a full set, but I'm not going to not stop collecting, if that makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
So if I get there, I'll get there. But I'm not saying right. I'm going for a full set of NES games, but I'll just casually buy. And if I ever get there, I might put them. Who knows? But yeah, but I do love buying for the NES. I really do. I love bringing them home because there's that many that I didn't know as a kid. I love coming home for a new game and trying
Exactly.
it out and seeing what the game is. It could be because sometimes I do like getting the ones that I know of, but also like buying the ones I've never heard of.
That's
So
what I did.
I'll go to an event and I'll buy 3 or 4 games. That's maybe £5 each, £4 each, and just unknown. And I love bringing them home and just giving them a try and seeing what you like.
I think a lot of people, they go into a collection sort of thing and they go, oh, I'll go for the top ones first because they're going to be the most expensive and get them out of the way. But I was going for the ones I wanted to play the most.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want these ones. I know they're good. I'll give them a go. And then I saw a new one and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Then you go on YouTube, type in, have a little look at the review and you go, that looks cracking. Then you grab it, play it yourself, and it's like being a kid again because it's a brand new game you never had as a child. And it's just starting from scratch again. And yeah, there's nothing beats it. And then when you just go on for 5 minutes and then you sit there for 3 hours, yeah, can't beat it.
Yeah, and all that started from the boot sale. Yeah.
Exactly. If I never went to that boot sale, then there probably wouldn't be a set there. I don't know what else would be there. Could be.
Yeah.
You never know.
Which I'll just say that because obviously we might have reviewers who are from other parts, other countries. When we say boot sale, it's like a flea market or more of a.
I think they call it flea market. Yeah.
Or a garage sale in America. It's basically just a big field. Cars pull up, open the boots, and set up a table, and then you just sell all their second-hand items, and then people just walk around and buy them. But it's literally a field, and there's rows and rows of cars with tables set up, just selling their second-hand stuff. And for retro collectors in the UK, it's one of the main places to go because people's getting their old dusty computers out the loft, out the attic, out the cellars or basements and places like that, and selling them. And if they don't know what they have, you can be getting some fantastic bargains for low prices. Don't get us wrong with the smartphone nowadays ruins a lot of bargains because even now they're getting the pricing things as they're putting them on the table so they know what they're worth. Yeah. But it's and Kev, that's what Kev's main videos are about. Is he has a camera, a GoPro, and he goes to boot sales and he just records himself looking for these retro bargains.
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah. You never know what you're going to find, and that's the best bit about it. And when you go, it's just you see a table when you'll come up and they'll be like listed up £30-40 a game, and you're like, you don't even look.
Yeah.
And then you go to another table, you see some games, and you're just like, oh, there's no prices. How much? And they'll be like 50p, and you're like, seriously? Okay, yep. Load up, quick. It's good.
Yeah, but obviously I said that's some of your main videos, but since you've done your NES collection, you do a lot of live streams and all, which I do enjoy watching because you actually play the games you've got in your collection now. I mean, which game did you just finish? Was it the other night? Was it
Rockin' Cats? It's called.
Yeah.
It's up there. Okay. Yeah, Rockin' Cats. It's not a PAL A game. It's a PAL B. But what I like to do is when I buy new games, I play them. But then when I get a new game that I know is pretty good, I save it for a stream because then I can play it live and be like, yeah, this is decent, and you get my first impressions until you got to the end of that level if you want to watch the video, and then it just continued the game and it went into nightmare mode because the controls were absolutely shocking. So yeah, great game. Just don't continue at the end. Just turn it off when it says game over, finished. Yeah.
But that's what I like because about the NES, you can pretty much do them in one stream, don't you? Most games you kind of do in one stream, and it's great watching. It is because you're quite the gamer. You are quite good at gaming. I will say that, Kev, because some of the jumps and the memories and the stuff, and obviously NES games are pretty much just memory and reflex, aren't they? You have to be on the ball. You can be on the screen and you have projectiles coming from all over, and you just got to be good. You have to have a good eye.
Handhold.
Yeah, it's you got to get good, basically. Get good fast to success. And you're a good gamer, I'll say that. I do enjoy watching your streams.
I play everything. Like I said, I've got the Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, Switch. I'm a gamer at heart. I've been since a child. My mum got my first NES, and since then, gamed non-stop, pretty much. My addiction.
Well, I was going to talk about that next. Kind of like your evolution through gaming. How did you start and how did you get to where you are now? Because you seem to have gone full circle. You started in there, or maybe you did or you didn't. But I do know you do own all the modern systems. You're not just a retro gamer, you do own modern.
I play everything. I play everything. So when I was about, I can't even say the age. I can't remember. I was tiny, and my brother come in, and he lived with me when I was about 2 maybe, and he came in and he had a Pong machine. And I was like, I'd never seen it before. I'd never seen any gaming things. I'd never seen anything like that. And he was like, have a go. And I was playing it. He was like, that's amazing. And he's like, you can keep it. And I was like, brilliant. And next day I got up and went in and it was gone. I was like, where is it? And he's like, oh, I sold it to my mate. So I was like, brilliant. So anyway, I was gutted. My mum saw that. So anyway, it was like a couple of years later, the NES came out and she saw it in the shop. And for some reason, she bought me it. I never asked for it. I never asked for presents at Christmas. It was a case of I just got what I was given. So this NES come in, and I got it. Mum set it up, of course. I had no idea what I was doing. And we plugged in Super Mario Duck Hunt. And, I had this old TV. And at night, I used to turn the sound down because obviously I didn't have the sound on. So I turned it off because I was little. When I lay in bed and fall asleep watching telly. And we're playing the game. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. The game is so incredible. Nothing like this ever existed. And then one day I was like, I went to watch TV and the sound wasn't on. I was like, hang on, maybe the game's got sound. Put it back on, the Mario theme. And I was like, this is incredible. I've never seen anything like this. And it blew my mind. And since then, if my mum never bought me a NES, I probably wouldn't be a gamer. Yeah. But I've played, there's a lot of, basically everything in the UK that's come out, I've had to go on, bar, the £600 systems that used to come out. And I've always, at Christmas and stuff, and when I got older, it was like, can I have a Game Gear, can I have a Master System, can I have, and just moved on. And even when I was older, towards like 14, 15, I was like, well, I've never tried a Spectrum, can I have a Spectrum? And, things like that. So I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, so you've had to go on most things.
Yeah, pretty much.
So obviously, without the NES, what would you say is your favourite system? Which one hooked you the most? Or would you say it's the NES?
Excluding the NES.
Excluding the NES, because obviously...
Probably Super Nintendo as well. That's Super Nintendo was like when you had the NES. Exactly, that was it. It just went big. It was like nothing like it. There was nothing like it. And of course, the Mega Drive came out, and you had what I liked as well was I did play both, but the way it worked was I had a SNES, my friend had a Mega Drive, and what we'd do is swap. So we'd play our games, he'd play his. One day he's like, do you want to swap? Okay, and we just swapped the whole systems. And my mum used to go crazy. Don't start swapping stuff. And I'm like, no, it's all good. It's my mate. And then, I got some games like Aladdin, for instance. They came out and it was different on the SNES and the Mega Drive. So it was a new game. And things like that were really cool back then. And I really enjoyed the game. So, yeah.
No, but for me, I must admit, you do take pretty much any game on the NES. It was a major improvement on this NES. I think nostalgia for NES. But if you think about it, just Mario alone and Zelda and everything, it's just... Punch Out, the Super Punch Out. Everything, just saying, it did get just a massive upgrade, and it was
huge at the time.
Yeah, nostalgia for the NES, but for me, my heart is with the Super Nintendo. I do absolutely love it.
I love NES games, like Mega Man 2, of course, stuff like that. People made them on the Mega Drive. They did the compilation, and it's not as good. So if you want to play the best ones, you go back to the NES. Even these new ones that come out on the Xbox One and things like that, the NES is the way you want to go if you want to play the best version of like Mega Man and things like that. And your Castlevanias and stuff like that are all good. But the Super Nintendo was just like mind blowing, the the with the 3D effects.
You get the Mega Man X and you get the Super Castlevania.
Oh yeah,
everything just got the word Super put in front of it, and it really was just super. It just did upgrade it.
Yeah, it was massive difference.
Yeah, so on a modern game, and what I actually seen a post on Twitter for that recently. This modern gaming concept. What's this word modern game? It should be just gaming, isn't it? There is this. I think it's just older generation of people. For younger, it's just gaming, but for us, same as we do retro and modern.
Retro and modern, yeah.
There's this modern gamer term, but as for a modern gaming, what's your system of choice?
See, I've got the Pro, I've got the Switch, and I've got the One X. I spend most of my time, pretty much 99% of my time, on the Xbox.
On the Xbox.
But you got the PlayStation for the exclusives because I like them. The exclusives are always good on PlayStation, but now the X is more powerful, so all the third-party titles are better on the X. So it's sort of moved over. So it's third-party on the X, first-party on PlayStation, and first-party on Switch. Yeah. So yeah, my X just gets hammered like every night, probably like 3 hours a night at least.
Yes.
Hooked.
So I think it was me. I probably would go PlayStation because I do like good exclusives. Horizon Zero Dawn looks incredible. Is Spider-Man exclusive to PlayStation? Or
Yeah.
Because that there looks incredible. It'll be out by the time this has been broadcast. But yeah, that looks so incredible. Yeah, it's teasing us into the new gen. I don't. All of us a Switch, and everything else is retro in this room. But the new Spider-Man game, it's calling us. It just looks
it's a huge leap. Like,
It
compared
is.
to old games. Do you remember playing the PlayStation 1 game? You must have played that.
Yeah.
And being like, wow, look at this. I could swing through the cities. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
And now you can swing anywhere. You can climb to the highest building. You can do anything. And it's the closest you get to actually being Spider-Man.
Yeah, it looks. Spider-Man's my boy. I love him. And then that just game is calling my name.
Yeah. And they got the system as well. You're going to grab that.
Why? That's what's getting his Kev. It just looks incredible. It's just the red with this. It is.
The logo.
It's really calling my name so much.
Treat yourself. Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat myself. I think I'll have to sell off my collection to fund it.
It's not cheap now, is it, gaming?
No. Right, so that's pretty much showing your gaming. I say now we'll jump with us because you have Instagram stuff like that now, don't you? You enjoy posting Instagram. It's more pictures of your NES games at this moment in time, isn't it, and stuff like that.
Back a long time ago, it was stuff about my car, because I used to do my car and do car stuff on YouTube, and it got a lot of hits. People used to know me, so you go to car meets and people would recognise you. Then obviously I got into the gaming, I started posting pictures, and then it got to the point with NES games, and I was like, I'll just take a picture, like, this is the latest game I've got, and I'll say a little bit, this game is this, and the other. And it just moved on from there. And now I start finishing games live. I like to take a picture of the start and the end screen to show that I've done it. And then, it's not on an emulator because it's 1080p. It's on the hardware. So you get that clear image as well, and you show it on there, and you just like, it's like a kind of like a trophy at the end. Especially if you finish a game like Ninja Gaiden. When I finished that, or Batman, Batman, when I was on that.
Yeah,
when the rage was gone, it was out of the. But once you finish it, that feeling is just beating a NES game. You're just like, come on. When you beated Zelda 2, completed it.
Yeah.
Just like, yes. And you can't beat that. So, I put stuff on Instagram. Yeah. That's it.
Right, so I think we shall jump over a little bit of Zelda talk now. Seems though this is a Zelda podcast after all. It's what I claim it to be, Gossip Stones. And it's basically what I talk about is what is your first Zelda memory, Kev?
For me, see, I had a NES at the beginning of my childhood, and then I got one later on. I basically sold. With systems, I used to sell them on and move them on, and then get a next system up, and then trade it in and get the next system. So I was on to the Super Nintendo at the time. I never knew about Zelda 1 and 2. I didn't know anything about them.
Same as me.
Super Nintendo was there, and my friend had a Super Nintendo at the first time I saw a SNES. And I went around his house, and he's like, I've got this game, Legend of Zelda. I was like, oh, okay, right. And he put it on, and I just sat there, and I ended up sitting there pretty much about 8 hours just watching him play it. Like,
that's my story.
Because he was playing it, because I would have played it, but it's his gameplay, so you don't want to take over from him. It's his story. And I just sat there and watched it non-stop, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to go to bed now. I was like, yeah, I'll come round tomorrow. We'll do it again. And then came round until he finished it.
Yeah.
And that was my first experience with Zelda. And then I moved on to the NES again. So I never got that game at the time because I didn't have the SNES. So the NES came along again, and I had Zelda 2. I think it was Zelda 2.
Yeah.
I put it in. I died about 40 times in 10 seconds. And I was just like, I don't get it. I can't. I just couldn't fathom it. I didn't know what was going on. So anyway, took it into a shop, traded it in. I got £1 for it, cart only.
Oh.
£1 is all it was worth. £1, and I was like, "Yep, take it." With a few games, I just chucked it in, and never went back to it. I was like, that was it. So that's my first memory of it. And then, of course, moved on and got my own A Link to the Past, and never looked back with that.
Right, that's strange because my memory, as I've said before and plenty of times, it's mirrored yours a little bit. I went to my friend's house and he was playing Link to the Past, and I watched him pretty much play the game, but I helped solve the puzzles, so he was more he was doing the game, playing the action, while I was like over his shoulder saying, can you run that bookcase, get the book, how about we need that symbol looks like that medallion, let's get that medallion to open that and stuff like that. And And for me, so I watched him finish it. Then it was years later that I seen the game and actually got it myself and played it for myself and thinking, I remember this. And then that's when I fell in love with it completely, because I did that before. And it's strange, but that happens for many games. There's many games where I can remember that I didn't even play.
Yeah.
That I watched my friend play. I think Metal Gear Solid, I think I did that on the PlayStation. I watched one of my best friends finish that. I didn't. In fact, it got to the point where I used to go around his house on a night just to watch him play, and he would wait for us to turn up because I was that hooked on the storyline. And I would watch him play and do the storyline. And it's great when games can hook you like that, where you can have just as much enjoyment by watching it being played as you do when playing it. And I think that's what Zelda does, because the storyline's fantastic. They have the puzzles to keep you hooked in. Everyone can get involved. The music.
Every game has got its own music, and every bit of music is fantastic. Yeah. Even on like the lower end games that people don't like, some of the DS games. Yeah. There's still great music.
Oh, the Lost Woods and Link to the Past, though. That's just so happy and energetic. I love that.
It's just nothing like it.
No,
when you're actually walking up, looking around, and the first time you find the Master Sword, and you're just like, "What is this?" And nothing like it. You can't beat it.
Oh, I say many times. That's my favourite scene in the game, when you go to the Lost Woods and you go into the clearing, and the animals are running past, and it's all foggy.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Right, and probably one of the last questions for this part. The most daunting question of all. It's not as daunting as it sounds. But what does Zelda mean to you, Kev, and kind of how do you incorporate it into your life? Does it kind of when someone mentions The Legend of Zelda, what does it make you feel, and how does it? I mean,
it's hard to answer, to be honest. I think for me, it's a true adventure. When games say they're an adventure game or an RPG game and stuff like that, it's very hard to say you're actually having an adventure. It's more of like you're just being dragged along and with these cutscenes, and there you go. Whereas this is like, here you go, freedom. You do what you want. If you want to go that way, you want to farm, get some hearts and stuff. Whatever you want to do, it's down to you. Yeah. So I kind of feel it's, I don't know, not a way of life, but like,
it's not a way. It kind of obviously. To me it is, because obviously I have a shrine set up in my room, and I'm doing this right now, talking to Zelda.
Yeah.
But look at you now, you've got a Zelda t-shirt. I know I'll probably ask for this benefit, but I can see Majora's Mask over your shoulder, and I can see a Link on the shelf behind you, and you've got them in your life, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
It's strange how a franchise can take over without even realising, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, like when I'm playing a Zelda game, I'm hooked. Like it takes a special game for me to carry on playing. If I put a normal game on, I'll test the game, and I'm like, after 5 minutes, I'm done. If it doesn't hook me straight away, then I don't give it the time. Sometimes I come back to them, but with Zelda, I find I put them on and I can't stop. I just want to play it, and then when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about playing it, and then I want to go back and play it again, and it's just.
Breath of the Wild, I think you would finish it before I started my stream.
That was.
Well, in fact, I own your Breath of the Wild now, don't I? I've got it. You sold me your collector's edition Breath of the Wild.
Because my Switch broke, and I'd sent it back already twice, and they just said, get another Switch, and I was just like, I'll leave it for now. I'll get another one another day, and I did, and it's all back again. But I thought, who would want this, cheap, because it gets it in your collection.
I think I paid less than retail, and that was including postage, Kev. It was a fantastic deal.
Yeah, it's all good. I thought if anyone, literally, I was like, I'm selling it. I'm calling you. There was no one else to call. You're going to want it. And I was like, yeah, do you want it? And you were like, oh, I'm a bit busy at the moment, but yeah, I'll do. Call me back.
I think I was at the zoo with my family at the time.
Yeah, that was it, at the zoo.
Yeah, I want it. I'm trying to whisper in the corner on the phone as we walk past the elephants. The wife, who are we on the phone to?
Spending money? Spending money? No, honestly.
She can sense it. She knows when I do.
Oh, that all ladies do. But yeah, it's just way of life, I think. Yeah,
it is. Like you said, it is without knowing. But like you said, well, obviously, I just thought this now. But obviously, for you, it's a way of life. You actually got to go and play the Breath of the Wild and all, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and obviously, you actively went out and applied for that, didn't you? You had to apply for this.
It was basically I was on the Nintendo group, and they were saying, right, there's this event coming up. It's in a few places in the UK, and first come, first serve. and I was waiting, and the moment they came up the tickets, I was like, right, that's it, I'm grabbing. And I grabbed 4 tickets. I was straight in there. I think it was 4 or it was 2 and 2. And we just said we're going to go down. I think it was in Birmingham. I think it might have been Birmingham. I was like, okay, we're travelling there, no doubt we're going. We're going to test the Switch. And it was the first trial with the Switch with all the new games. And I knew Zelda was going to be there. And I'd been watching videos, of course, other people playing them and stuff. And I was like, well, I want to play it. I want to try it out. Now, I never know at the events if it's just a demo and they've got like a certain sandbox and then it just cuts off. I always wanted to know that. I should have asked at the time. But so I got there. We got to the event. I went with Kieran, my friend Jake, and the missus, and Amanda's brother. And that's the missus' brother. And we got there and they give out these cards. So you queued up. It was like really, Nintendo was really strict. They were like, yep, stand here. Queue up, and they were like, here's this card. Everyone gets a card to play Zelda. And it was like, oh, we've got 20 minutes to play Zelda. So we went off, played 1-2 Switch. And I'm playing 1-2 Switch. And they're like, oh, Zelda, I forgot. Looked at the card, run out of time. So I run over there. I was like, my time's up. Can I come? And they were like, no, you have to come back at the end of the whole event. So I was like, okay. So we carried on. We did the whole event. Come back. And what they did was they took the cards off you, like I said to you before, and they tore them up, threw them in the box, and then you could play the game. So I sat down and played it, but they didn't take my card because obviously I was late. So they assumed I wanted a second game. Played Zelda, I was loving it. Just, like you do. I was just looking around like in awe. And then come off it, and I was like, we'll finish the event, and went home. And I got that card, and I kept it, and I was just like, I'll keep that. It's, a good memento. And then, of course, one day I was like, I'll send some stuff to Chris.
Yeah, it did.
And I thought, who would want this card more than me? Because I know if you got something like NES related and you were like, this is something special, you might think, oh, I'll keep it. But if you did want to get rid of it, you'd probably go, oh, I'll hook Kev up.
I wish it was at hand, just so I could show people.
It's just like a little, like a business card, isn't it, with Zelda and the time on it, which is something that got destroyed. So it's technically, what would you class that as? What would it be?
It'd be a rare piece of merchandise, I suppose. I don't know. But there won't be. There'll be a few, because there'll be people kicking, but there won't be that many kicking up because it would have been destroyed.
And, they'll got destroyed,
And actually, a used one, I suppose, yours is a memory of you, because you might have some blank ones that haven't been written on yet, but that's actually been used, so it's quite good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone was getting them destroyed there. No one had them to keep. So
I was blown away when you sent us it. Like, I was chuffed, because it's quite good now, because it's a memory of Zelda, but it's also like a memory of you. So it's double meaning.
It's gone to a good home. So
it's a good memento for me to keep.
Okay.
Yes, so I think I tangent on a bit there, but I think that's end of part 1. Thank you so much for joining us there and discussing Zelda, Kev.
No worries. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. Like you say, we're actually going to hang around and record more. This is part 1. There is 3 more parts going to be recorded. And in the second part, which you will see next week, I'll be asking Kev Zelda. I should be asking Kev 12 Zelda-related questions. So please come back then and see what he says. Bye.
Bye. See ya.